Hi everyone, welcome back to Cozy Talk. I think you said about your cough. Oh, I'm so confused. Hi everyone, welcome back to Cozy Talk. So today we wanted to do what we wish we knew in high school video. I think that's because high school was such a big part of everybody's lives, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably a really, you know, a big challenging time as well. You're gonna have to excuse my voice, I've just had a cold, so if I sound a little bit husky, then that's why. Yeah, we really want to do this video because, you know, there are things that we wish we knew when we were teenagers and in high school that we felt, you know, may have helped in certain situations.
Yeah, definitely.
And by us sharing them with you today, you know, it might help you.
Definitely. So, did you want me to start first? Yeah. Right, so one of the things that I wrote down for what I knew in high school was I wish I knew that the pressures of school are not as big as what they seem.
That's a good one.
I felt like this was really important because when I was at school, there was, well, when we were at school, we were a lot in the same classes, weren't we, as well? It was so pressurising for us. We were the first people to take our maths and our English GCSEs a year early, so we did them in year 10 rather than year 11. Then we were the first people to go to a sixth form as well, weren't we? So there was a lot of pressure.
And we're back.
So there was a lot of pressure on us actually, and it was very much like, get these grades, you know, and also not just about grades as well, there's like pressure about, you know, what group you're in, like friendship group, and there's all these pressures.
Your life outside of school as well, and how that's going to have an influence.
Yeah, and like then when to get a job and just all things like that. And I think even though they're good, it's good to have pressure in those aspects, like especially with grades and things and, you know, revising, but I think they ram it so much down your throat, don't they? Like we had that, it was very, you must do this, and it scares you. It petrified me, even though I was the kind of person who would revise a lot, and it scared me, the fact that I thought I wasn't revising enough.
Yeah. And
I remember at one point my mum and dad actually had to tell me, Chelsea, can you please stop revising, because you've done it so much, like I was wearing myself out.
Yeah.
And what I want to kind of take from that, like for example, Pythagoras theorem, I can't even remember it. I can't even remember it. Like I can't
even tell you what it is.
Unless you wanted to move in with your career in that way with maths, fine. But I can't remember it. I cannot for the life of me remember it. And I think what I'm trying to say is just the pressure that may seem massive and that the teachers may make as these huge things, you don't actually need that much pressure on you, and I think the less pressure you have on yourself, the easier everything will be. Yeah,
definitely. One of the things that I wish I knew when I was in high school was about, again going back to pressures, but about wishing I was a little bit kinder to myself about the way I looked or the way that I didn't look. And I know that we've touched on this previously in the videos that we've done before, but you know, when I was in high school, you know, what I looked like, you know, mattered so much to me. And, you know, like I said in the other video, I'd wear loads of makeup, I would put in my hair extensions just to change the way that I looked, to make myself feel good about myself. And as I said then, you know, it doesn't actually help, it didn't help my confidence at all, and if anything it made it worse. So I wish that I didn't feel so pressured by myself, I must admit, and you know the people around me and the things that we were exposed to at that time. I think as you're growing up, the hardest thing that you can wear is your own skin, isn't it? And to feel confident in it. Things are changing. I don't want to go too much into this because we've already touched on it on our previous videos, so if you want to know a little bit more about how we learned from that, then check out our other videos. Yeah, I'll leave a link in the description so you can just go directly to it. So I'm going to be repeating everything that I've said in previous videos, so I don't want to do that, but you know, I read something recently that, you know, I wish I could just tell myself, go back in time and tell myself when I was a teenager, and that was, there are plenty of beautiful faces in this world, but not as many beautiful minds. And so rather than wasting your time and efforts on proving to the world that, you know, how you look on the outside, you know, prove to the world and what's important on the inside. So the next one that I wish I knew was, you're welcome.
And I wish I knew that being you is fine and that you don't have to fit in. And it's kind of touched on our other video as well. And I felt like when you are in high school, like you have these boxes that you feel like you have to fit in. Like you've got
stereotypes,
you've got the popular groups. So, same with like America, you know, when you have like the jocks and things like that. You had the nerds, you had the, you know, we were, like I said before, we were kind of the people who got on with everybody. But it was a lot like you had to fit in order to be a certain way. Like I don't remember seeing, I mean I used to wear makeup to school and I didn't see a lot of girls who didn't wear makeup. And it was very much about like what you were wearing or what bag you had to take to carry everything in. And I just feel like, you know, if you wanted to just be you, and if you didn't consider like that you liked that, then you don't have to do it, or you don't have to be a certain way. And I don't like the fact that you had the whole year group was categorised into certain boxes, and in order to be in that group you had to fit this box. And it is very damaging, because you're almost like putting a label on yourself. And actually being you is fine. If I wanted to go to school, obviously wearing the same uniform, but if I wanted to go to school and I just didn't fancy doing my hair one day or put makeup on just because I couldn't be bothered or I woke up late, people would look at you and be like, oh my god,
you get judged.
She hasn't got any makeup on today, she looks different, and people would judge you. And I just think that's not okay. And even like with your subjects as well, you know, do what you feel you want to do. Don't do it just because your friends. And you know, we in the first 3 years we were in the same classes, but when we picked our options, I didn't do what Jodie did and Jodie didn't do what I did. And in fact we weren't in any classes together, were we, at that point? Because we were both went on different paths, and we let each other do that as well. Like, I wouldn't be like,
because you have to, you have to. You've got to do you. I think that sort of leads on to one of my points that I was going to make as well. And one of them was, I wish that I wasn't so ashamed of my priorities back then. And you know, for me, I took my education quite seriously. You know, my grades mattered to me, my coursework, assignments, whatever, my revision, you know, I took it all seriously because I wanted to have a good education and I needed it to be able to get to where I am today. And I wish I knew that hard work was going to pay off, because you know there are other people in our year that maybe didn't consider their education as important as I did, and that's fine as well. But you know, for example, I would tell little white lies to people and say that I was busy doing something else.
Not me, by the way, because
she knew what I was doing all the time. But I would tell little white lies to say that, you know, I was doing something else. You know, people would say, why don't you come down to the park late at night, you know, where I knew there was going to be alcohol involved and stuff, or meeting people that, you know, I didn't know, which, you know, for me personally is quite, you know, not a comfortable thing to do. I would tell little white lies, you know, and suggest that I was doing something way cooler than actually doing my revision, because I was scared of the reaction that I would get.
Yeah, and that's really upsetting.
Yeah,
so
but I
upsetting.
think I wish I'd just stick to my guns and just said, you know, just a bit more confident in myself, and, you know, not be ashamed of it. And I think the more that you learn to love your own decisions, I think the less you need others to approve them.
So my last one is, I wish I knew more about boys and friendships. And I mean this in the way, like, not that I wish I knew more how boys, you know, I mean more about how, when you're at that age, like, boys and friendships seem to be your everything, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, how many friends have I got? How many, you know, for social media, people on there, it's like, oh, how many friends have I got on social media? How many likes do I get? And then it's about a boy, and then my first kind of boyfriend was 16. So it was when I was like in my last year, and you know, when you're in that relationship, it's like you think, settle down,
your expectation,
yeah, and then really the reality of it was, and like I used to worry about me and you not being friends like anymore, or you know, you liking other people better than me, and it was just like, now I look back at it and I think the amount of energy that I put into worrying about boys and about my friends was ridiculous. And look, we're still best friends, and we always are.
You're stuck.
We are always going to be. And yeah, the relationship, you know, with my boyfriend didn't work out.
But that's okay.
But that's fine. I think we'll do a whole one on relationships.
Yeah,
because we feel like that's really important.
Definitely.
But now you kind of realise about how to know you and to know your own mind. And you know, I spent all this time worrying whether they were going to break up with me or whether Jodie was going to, you know, not be my friend anymore because she didn't like me. Whereas now my mindset is, okay, like for example, if my boyfriend now cheated on me, okay, bye. Like that's, I'm very much like that. If you want to choose to do that, then that's fine, but you won't be with me. And also as well, if you just turned around to me and went, you know what, or you started to drift off from me a bit, or started to turn a bit weird and just not be very nice to me anymore, I'd be like, oh okay, well then I'd be obviously I'd be upset in both scenarios, but I'd take more of a, oh okay, well maybe she's changed then.
And especially in high school, we tend to put all our happiness into the hands of other people.
Yeah.
And so when things don't go as well as we expect, you know, it might seem like our whole world is just falling apart, but actually that's not the case. Another point that I've made is, again, very similar to what you just said then. So I've put that I wish I knew not to get so disappointed in you know, friendships and relationships that didn't, you know, last as long as you'd hoped for. I think, you know, this is something that you learn along the way, but I wish that I had a bit more understanding of it when I was younger.
I do.
Again, to save that energy, that time, that stress. But people are meant to come and go, and people either come into your life as a blessing, or other people come in and go to teach you a lesson. So you know, I've not regretted any friendships or relationships that I've had, but if it hasn't worked out, that's okay. That's okay. There's a reason for it, and it's just finding out what that reason is. It helps you to move on. Excuse me.
But what you said about like the whole friendship thing, I think you, like you said, you do put your hands in the happiness of other people, and I think if somebody has left your life through either your choice or their choice, you do always take something away from it. And you do learn from it. It's so strange. Like when you were saying that, I was kind of thinking back to like past relationships and past friendships, and I've actually learned something from everybody. And it might seem like it at the time, because obviously you're angry, you're upset, you're frustrated,
heartbroken, you know, whatever. But I think, you know, there are so many things that I could say that are wrong with the relationships that I've had in the past, but it's helped with my self-worth. And I think that, you know, the main thing that I've learned from you know, a previous relationship was I deserve better than that. And I think you need to learn to be comfortable within yourself and confident, and to trust yourself as well. So those are the things that we wish that we knew when we were in high school, and we hope you found that helpful. And I think as well, we're not saying that, you know, you shouldn't have these things, because even though us telling you that, oh, I wish I knew this and I wish I knew that, we still know that you're gonna, you know, worry about boys and worry about relationships and worry about your grades and things. But it's almost a case of like, you know, we've been through it, and we want to kind of say to you that actually they're not as bad as what they seem. And even if you take just a small little bit from that, just to say, oh okay, this isn't as bad as what they seem, I will be okay if my friendship has ended, or you know, other things like that. So yeah, we just want to make sure that, you know, these things, they will happen, and they're okay that they'll happen. And just to go along with it, really. And even though it might seem like the end of the world, you know, about your grades or about your friendship or your boyfriend breaking up with you and things, they're actually going to make you a stronger person, and you're going to learn something from it. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's, you know, when times are not going so well, use that as an opportunity to learn from it and develop yourself. And you'll grow. You will grow. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and just keep on the lookout for our next one. Okay, bye. No, don't put that one in, that's embarrassing. Oh, I will.